3 years ago, I was what felt like on the verge of depression. I had hit rock bottom in my health. For so many years, I let myself go, and it was years of buildup of not taking care of myself and not being proactive in doing what was best for me and my body. I let myself go. And I knew that I was heading down a path that was not benefiting me for my future. I knew that something was wrong, but I was not doing anything about it. I remember a specific day, and it still sticks with me till this day. My husband, my kids, and I, we always went on a walk around our neighborhood that only took us 10 minutes to do. And it was a walk that we did in order for us to bond with each other, with our kids. It only took us 10 minutes to complete, and we did it frequently. But as time went by, that walk became exhausting and meaningless to me. Just remember this haze over me that I couldn't really shake off. I felt fatigued. I felt sad. I felt angry. I felt a lot of emotions that I can't explain, but I wasn't myself. I knew that something was wrong, but I just remember not being present, not interacting with my kids, and being happy that we were out. That same night, I feel like I had a sort of an epiphany. I was just envisioning myself in the future, thinking about how I wanted my future to look like, or how my future would look like if I continued the path that I was going. I saw a future where I was going to be a burden for my kids and for my husband. And I did not want to be a burden for anybody. I have always been pretty independent and self-sufficient, and to think about not being that as I got older was something that made me angry, made me sad, and made me not like myself. And so I had to come to terms that I needed to make a change. I want for my kids to be proud of their mom, to know that their mom is strong and capable. I want to be able to keep up with them as they get older. I want to be able to do sports with them. I want to be able to practice whatever sport that they're into. I want to be able to travel with my husband. I want to do things with my husband as we get older without having any health complications. So I knew that if I wanted to do those things, I needed to make a change. And that's why I started my own fitness journey. I started off at 210 pounds 3 years ago. I've lost so far about 30 pounds. It has felt like I've been on a roller coaster these past 3 years. I have had my ups, I've had my downs. I pretty much had to say goodbye to an old version of me that I knew for pretty much my whole life. It has not been easy. It's been challenging. I had to pretty much rewire my brain. I've had to let go of old habits that I accumulated over the years, and I've had to implement new habits that have felt uncomfortable sometimes. I was definitely nervous and did not feel comfortable when I first started working out. I remember my first gym being Planet Fitness when I decided to start my journey. And I remember I would go into a corner to make sure that nobody would see me. And I would just grab dumbbells and I would look up videos on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and just pick and choose exercises that seemed cool. I was a newly stay-at-home mom when I started this journey, and so I had to learn how to juggle being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of myself as well. And the only time that I knew that was going to work for me to go to the gym was waking up at 4 a.m. and being at the gym at 5. It was hard. I didn't just wake up one day and go to the gym. And so I had to learn this new habit of waking up at 4 and getting ready and go to the gym. And I remember the first week that I started, I would set up my alarm. I would wake up the next day, my alarm would go off, and I would not wake up. I would not get up. I would wake up, I would lay in bed, and I would just have a conversation with myself pretty much, and a debate of whether I was going to get up or not. And of course, the old version of me won that first week. But then the second week, I remember I had listened to a podcast, a clip of a podcast, and it was Mel Robbins, and she had mentioned a habit that she had implemented herself, and it was the 5-second rule.
The alarm rings in the morning. Most of us don't want to get out of bed, right? But we know we should. I would go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The moment the alarm rang, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just like NASA, what they do, they count down to launch a rocket ship. And the counting backwards kind of shut my mind off. And then suddenly at 1, I would stand up. I would use this every single morning to get out of bed. And 9 years later, I still use it every single morning to get out of bed. I think some behavior you can learn and automate, other stuff that you don't like doing, you're going to always have to push yourself. That's just how it is.
That the second week, it only worked 2 times out of the 7 days that second week. As I started getting used to this new lifestyle, I started going a little bit more and a little bit more. And as I kept going a little bit more, I started to see changes. I started to see a change, not physically, but mentally. I was coming home happy. I was coming home energized. I was coming home in a good mood and just filled with purpose. I knew that I had a purpose at home with my kids. That has been my biggest purpose in life. But doing something for me besides being a mom definitely gave me just a breath of fresh air that I really, really liked. And so I wanted to keep exploring that. I knew that if I wanted the work that I was doing at the gym to be visible, I knew that I also needed to make changes at home. I knew that I needed to learn how to fuel my body properly. I knew that nutrition played a big role in this journey. And so I wanted to do things right. I wanted to see what I was lacking in order for this to work. And so I researched, I became educated. I soon realized that I was under eating protein. I was not drinking a lot of water. I was not eating a lot of vegetables. I was not eating a lot of fruits. And I was missing a lot of vitamins. And I had to learn how to be okay with not binge eating the things that I really craved and loved. I had to learn how to make recipes that would help my sweet tooth. And so it's just been a learning process over these 3 years. Am I perfect right now? No. I still have days where I do grab that cookie or that brownie, but am I better than what I was 3 years ago? Absolutely. And so I've had to make these changes not only at the gym, but at home too. I wanted to learn how to squat. I've never squatted before without a Smith machine. I never deadlifted before. And this was a challenge that I wanted to achieve. And I remember practicing at home how to squat. I would practice obviously at the gym. And it took me some time to figure that out. I'm still learning. I'm still getting better. Learn how to deadlift. I would practice at home as well. I remember I would grab a broomstick at home and I would just practice. I'm not perfect whatsoever till this day. I kept challenging myself. I kept wanting to see what I could do more. And as I kept challenging myself, I started to see changes in my body. I started to see changes on the scale. I started to see changes on how my clothes were fitting. And I loved it. I just became in love. I became in love with fitness and what it was doing for me, not just physically, but mentally. And in 2023, I decided that I wanted to pursue a certificate in personal training. I wanted to share this feeling of empowerment and what fitness was doing for me in my life. I wanted to share that with the world. And so that's why I decided to pursue a personal training certificate. And that was a challenge. I studied for months and so yeah, I got the certificate and I'm very proud of that. I am currently a personal trainer and it's been very fulfilling to be able to teach others about fitness. I knew that I wanted to do more in my own fitness. And in 2023, I started to get into wanting to compete. I first did a 5K in 2023. I hated running. Running was not my thing. I hated running as a kid. I hated running in high school. I hated running even though I played soccer. I don't know how that worked. In 2023, I saw a ad for a 5K and it was for mothers on Mother's Day. And I said, what better way to celebrate Mother's Day than to go for a 3-mile run? I don't know what I was thinking at the time to do that, but I wanted to challenge myself. I literally thought that I was just going to do that one race and that was going to be the end of my running career. But because I was building a new version of me that wanted to do things the right way and wanted to do things to the fullest, I didn't want to half-ass this race. I trained for it and I became disciplined and dedicated to this race. And in the process of training, I fell in love with the progress that I was seeing and just seeing that all the hard work that I was putting into this training, I was making progress slowly but surely. And come day of the race, I finished. And that was very empowering. The fact that I put a lot of work and dedication to be able to make it to the finish line. And I really fell in love with that feeling. All of 2023, I did 5Ks and I became in love with running as well. I came to find out about a competition called High Rocks and I wanted to see if I could do it. And in June of 2023, I decided to start training for High Rocks. And it was months of hard work. It was months of discipline and dedication. Got to a point where I was running 8 miles during my training. I had to learn how to pretty much train for this competition on my own. On November of 2023, I completed High Rocks and it was hard. I felt like I wasn't going to make it. Completing High Rocks was, I think, a big turn in my fitness journey. I knew that I wanted to seek more. I wanted to seek more of that challenge that High Rocks provided me. And by the end of the year of 2023, I saw an ad for the Free Press, for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. I had not ran more than 8 miles, and for some reason, I was intrigued to do this marathon. The marathon scared me. I believe that things that scare you are the things that you have to try. I signed up. I registered January 1st of 2024. The marathon was not until October of this year. Before I could dive into the marathon, I knew that I had to complete a half marathon that year. And so I signed up for my first half marathon the beginning of the year, and I began to train for it. I completed my first half marathon in April. So I did 2 half marathons this year, and I did a 10K. I did other races throughout the year that kind of prepared me for the marathon. I took those as training races for the marathon. Come June of this year, I began to train for the marathon. I think training for the marathon has given me a whole new different perspective of hard work and dedication and discipline. I trained from June till October, and there were days of loneliness, there were days of doubt, there were days that I wanted to quit and I questioned myself. But I knew that if I quit the training for the marathon, what else was I going to quit? And if I quit on myself, I was quitting on my family, on my husband, and on my kids. On October 20th of this year, I became a first-time marathoner. I have never been so proud for accomplishing something. With hard work, discipline, determination, and dedication, I am able to do things that I thought I once could not. And completing the marathon has given me a new spark and has made me hungry for more. To see what's next in 2025. I'm excited to soon share with you all what I'm hoping to do in 2025. And I'm a mom. I am a wife. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am many, many things. And one of those things that I am excited to pursue and to hopefully add to my name is becoming an endurance athlete. I am 34 years old. I never thought that I would be pursuing something like this, but I want to challenge myself. I want to see what I can do, and I'm ready to take on this challenge in becoming an athlete.